I think that's everything. By the way, the overlay at the bottom of the screen, guys, I put that up to at least 5 minutes. So, for the first 5 minutes in the game, you should be able to see the stats of the players down there. Not that there's anything really important to see in that bar anyways, but we get to talk about it a little more and not have to rush through it. Sounds like my sound is a little high, which is on my end. And I am good to go. So I guess we don't have anybody carrying over because I haven't got to the spreadsheet because I've been rushing. But starting on the left side here in Metropolis, we have our blue Protoss. He is
Boyo.
He is going to be fast expanding, putting down that Nexus. His opponent on the right side, cross positions, we have a red Zerg. He is
Fitzyhere. I think Fitzy was at MLG, if I'm not mistaken. I did not see Boyo there. Or I could have missed him. I guess he's kind of small.
There's so much stuff to do. And I really hope XSplit didn't mess up some of my settings, but I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm like panicking because I'm not usually this rushed to get everything working. Oh yeah, spreadsheet. That was the other thing I was supposed to do. Oh well. A couple links coming across the map right now for Fitzy, but the timing of the cannon should be able to get up in time. Although they're about halfway through. If he doesn't actually get a gateway down and that drone is able to block here, he pulls 4 probes just to get that drone to go away. And are we going to see gateway in time? Let's see a pylon. I guess that is a full wall off.
Yep. Nicely done with the destructible debris there. They're actually going to work on the back rocks.
I like that.
This many lanes, it's actually not going to take them too long. Should actually force an additional cannon. That Zealot probably not going to be out in time to stop the distraction these things would make. The cannon at the front too far away from the actual mineral line. He can actually even go into the main if he wanted, and he is already going for that proxy in-base hatch though. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's scouted, but he's going to force some additional cannons, I think. And I think as soon as Fitzy sees those cannons, he's just going to cancel the hatch. He already has his 3rd base up, in fact.
Is he even going to be able to see the cannons, though? I mean, the range of the vision of the hatchery isn't exactly that far.
Well, he might not do it. I mean, he could actually leave it up and just try to get Lings in. He knows that with the timing of the gateway, with the Lings in the back, and the amount of cannons that he's forcing, he can do equal amount of damage. I mean, 1 pylon and 1 cannon is essentially equal in minerals almost to that hatchery.
On that first cannon, not even in range of the hatchery here. Meanwhile, he's trying to get another cannon up, it looks like, near the rocks. The 6 Lings still alive, and those rocks only about 200 health.
Yep, single stalker able to force them away, but that was incredibly close.
Yep. Also gave enough time for Fitzy to get another base up.
And now we got the 6 Lings going into the main. And again, I think there's some unprotected parts in this base that are not going to be covered by this cannon. Now there is that stalker there that's going to help out.
And he runs straight to the cannon. He actually didn't see the cannon.
Hatchery's not going to do too much, but again, he's gotten a nice scout off. He forced a lot of unnecessary defense. And he scouted out this Twilight Council.
At this point, the hatch goes down. We actually have a proxy pylon already going up top side for Boyo. So it does look like he's going to go into Blink Stalkers, and his +1's about halfway done. A little later than it would normally be for such a build, but he has been a little pressed on minerals, it seems like, putting down cannons everywhere. Then he's still got to worry about those rocks going down. He didn't actually put a cannon in his back door, so if anything does come back to the back door, he's going to have units in his base. Probably not a huge concern because he is going to be the aggressor here in a minute.
A lot of counter pressure, and in fact, Fitzy's Rotorn is considerably later. And despite how much Boyo was doing to harass here, it didn't really slow down the warp gate timing. And we see here, Blink is almost done as well. So the Chrono Boost being used quite well for Boyo. He's actually going to make a very, very strong attack, even though it's a little bit awkward for him. So now we see 5, 6 gateways coming up. And that's going to be a lot of Blink Stalkers. The Roaches are going to be out in time. Slightly delaying those gateways, so that slightly delayed the push just long enough. Does have a couple Spine Crawlers up.
Yeah, but not really in range to support one another. Just one Spine Crawler being hit right now, a couple Lings coming back, but no speed at all. That's really going to make it tough against Blink Stalkers.
Oh, and Boyo is really committing this. This is going to be the 4th pylon that's going down on the opposite side of the map. So he is really looking to do some damage here. That's a lot of supply and money being put on the other side of the base here.
His 6 gate pressure, a couple of the Roaches spawning at that 3rd base, getting picked off without really doing anything. Fitzy is staying about 20 supply ahead, but that's quickly going to change, I think, if Boyo just keeps doing warp-ins here. Even getting another pylon right at the front of the 2nd base. It seems like he might just ignore the 3rd and go for the 2nd. The other problem here is with the positioning of the Spine Crawlers, a couple Zealots just warped in from that pylon that's actually by the back rocks. They could completely bypass those and go straight for the drones.
And here we go, more attacks to the natural. 32 Lings were in production. The Roach is trying to close the distance. Some Lings coming from the back. Ling speed has just now started this, so they're not going to be able to catch up to any of those Blink Stalkers. If Boyo is continually able to micro these, he should be able to do a ton of damage, trading very, very efficiently against those Lings and Roaches. Even blinking forward here, he is looking quite strong. This pressure just looking to be a lot for Fitzy, even though he still has those Spine Crawlers up in front.
Oh, he's continuing to try to push it. A lot of... well, Fitzy's starting to push it back here. A lot of the Stalkers are still low health in their initial pushes. He is doing another warp in, and the supply is starting to even up. Only a 10 supply, now 8 supply difference. Going pure Roach right now since he doesn't have speed. Speed's only about 3/4 of the way done, so once he has speed, he might be able to engage this. He does have a lot of Spine Crawlers up at both fronts, so it's actually getting harder for Boyo to push, really with pure Stalker forces that he has. But I do like what he's doing right now. He's warping in a couple sentries back at home just to play safe. He's actually expanding. He's expecting not to be able to break it and end it with this push now. Is that going to be it then? It looks like it.
It's an interesting decision. A lot of times you'll just stay there with your Blink Stalkers until you sense that there's going to be infestors out. Or you try to go and snipe the 3rd hatch. I'm surprised he didn't do any economic damage against that. So the only real loss there was the amount of harvesters turned into spines and the amount of units produced. And then we see that it's actually a pretty big deal. 13 harvesters ahead for Boyo. But right now, Fitzy looking to go maybe on the aggressive. He's got a lot of Ling Roach here.
Well, right now he is a little down on harvesters, 43 to 55. I'm sure Boyo's going to fly a little further ahead after saturating that 3rd base once it comes up. And as I say that, of course, Fitzy goes for 13 drones, so that's going to pretty much even it up here. Just like that, 53 to 56.
So we might actually bring that count back down as these Zealots doing a lot of damage quite quickly. But they do have +2, doing a lot more damage to the drones.
I find it odd that he waited so long to actually pull that off. I mean, the other weird thing here is Fitzy didn't actually look for any other pylons. Obviously now he is, but he just kind of sat on the bottom side of the map. Well, it's not going to work twice, but decent amount of damage done. Looking at the workers killed, about 8 there.
Yep, so cost effective for those Zealots pretty much. Again, when they hit that +2 timing, they actually 2-shot drones. And Archon's 1-shot drones. Observer is going to see this Spire. So Fitzy going to start using the length of the map here. Trying to get ahead, keep the Protoss back on his side of the base and playing a little bit more defensively. But against the Blink Stalker opening, that's not going to be too effective in my opinion. He's got plenty of sentries here with plenty of energy. He has that Guardian Shield to really reduce the bouncing attack damage of those mutas. And with Blink, the mobility isn't going to be that big of a factor.
Yeah, he is still going to Colossi, and his +3 is about to finish, so that's going to be strong against the ground forces. The thing I'm scared of is that maybe he'll stop Colossus production upon seeing the Spire and just tech switch a little too quickly. Because I don't imagine Broodlords by themselves are going to do a huge amount here with such little ground forces to back them up. No, he does have Infestors.
He is going into that Greater Spire immediately, so going for fast Broodlords off of 3 base. Usually you see that if you're allowed to drone a lot with the early Broodlords coming. And again, it's kind of the same argument, is that if he's going for Broodlords, it's going to take him a long time to actually get across the map. And against Blinkstalkers, if they see those units moving across the map, you can easily be prepared for that. And he's already going into some more tech. Again, he's kept his stock down high. They already have +3.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what his plan is. It looks like by his Spinecrawler placement, he might just be turtling with Broodlords here, but I'm not sure that's going to be too effective. We still have Proxy Pylons on the other side of the base, scouting this 4th base out even. And Harvester count is still 53 to 71 in favor of our Protoss, who is going to even do some more damage here as Zealots dropping the main, see the Greater Spire, see the Corruptors, and are getting some worker kills.
Oh man. Yeah, he got distracted by the ones in the main. So there's one at the 4th that didn't get killed off as a result. Gonna have to go all the way back. Take care of that. 14 worker kills total this game, which means about 6 more there.
Protoss still ahead, 20 workers. Stargate going down, Storm on the way, Thermal Lance on the way.
That 4th base went down.
And +1 shield. Are you serious?
Yeah, a couple more. Well, a couple more were warped in. I think 2 more were warped in to finish it off.
But look at this, Boyo already positioning himself at his watchtower, clearing that out. He's got those 2 Colossi. Again, that Stargate about to finish. Probably going to go immediately into trying to get out of Mothership in time.
I'm hoping he actually keeps a few of these Corruptors out just to be able to deal with the Colossus.
Yep. Fleet Beacon on the way now, as well as +1 air weapons. Ooh. A lot of times when you see that, you have a Protoss that's essentially going to start committing to that air. And out on Void Race for that old-style laser death ball. And he does have that 4th base coming up, so he's relatively safe to do that. His Observer did scout pretty much everything out. And the commitment to the Greater Spire tech is pretty telling at this point in time. And with enough time, he's going to be able to counter that quite strongly.
Fitzy did see that Warp Prism coming along the top side. But, well, he's moving everything up to try to defend his 5th, which is on the way. Boyo's just going to go for it, looks like. A couple of Zealots warping in. I mean, he flew right over top of Zerglings. I don't know why you would expect it not to be reacted to.
Well, honestly, he might not care. He actually has a 2nd Warp Prism headed across the bottom.
Yeah. Get him out of position, maybe?
Yeah, just looking to pull that army, really scout out the positioning, threaten that harassment. We see the Blinkstalkers moving forward in the middle here. And he's still actually getting his 5th base up. He's just really keeping the Zerg on his toes, threatening that all-in style attack. And we see it's already forced a ton of Spinecrawlers, a ton of Broodlords. And unless you're actually making that attack, you don't necessarily want to spend all that money this early on. I mean, again, looking at his drone count, it's still at 57 as it just crawls to 62 to 72. So he is still behind. Protoss is about to be saturated on almost a full 4 bases.
Another warp in the main. It is scouted out, but he's not really reacting to it. Instead, he is running to his 5th to try to defend there. Warp Prism's kind of just flying overhead, but the Zealot's already doing work here, just going straight after the Hive. Is that half health? Spinecrawler really the only thing doing damage there at the front, and looks like he should be able to hold. Problem is right now, Dark Shrine is about halfway done. A couple DTs warped in can easily take that thing down. He's just going to keep warping in Zealots, just ram those things against the Hive until it falls. Only 500 health left there.
7 queens, though, with about full energy. So he's going to be able to keep this thing alive because we see the mass transfusions going down to keep that Hive alive. But in the meantime, 3rd base, we see even more Zealots warped in. And they're just going to go to town on these drones. Nice burrow, but he's still doing a lot of economic damage here. A lot of drones not mining. Still some key structures being attacked.
Yep.
And in the meantime, Boyo is just happily mining.
Here comes the Warp Prism back into the main to do the exact same thing it has been, except this time DTs.
DTs. And this is going to be a lot more damage here.
He didn't transfuse that as much as he should have, and that thing's going to fall. Not only that, but Spore Crawler's probably going to go down too, just because of how quick he can actually snipe everything here. Overseer is coming up.
Oh, and going after the Greater Spire. Right now it is researching Carapace level 2. Single DT going to work on it, but Transfuse is going to be able to keep it alive. There goes the Spore Crawler. He does take that out, but Hive is lost.
Now Boyo wanting to get rid of a couple sentries coming across the map. He's currently 2-2-3 on his upgrades, so bouncing out of shield upgrades as he's been going. Expecting that he's going to transition to Archons. Right now just has one, it looks like. Even killing off a couple Stalkers just to get, I presume, a couple extra Archons warped in here.
Spamming Guardian Shield as he sacrifices those sentries.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to do anything versus mass spines.
In the meantime, we are seeing that additional Stargate tech being thrown down. So 3 more Stargates. Obviously, it does make sense, as I pointed out, that he did get +1 air weapons. That mothership is out, just gaining energy. 132 right now. It's almost enough for a double Vortex when he moves out.
Fungal to try to defend the 5th base, and I think it's going to work. Going to have to transfuse that hatchery a couple more times.
He's got a ton of queens.
He's
So
got
both
a
players,
ton of everything here.
Yeah, giving each other enough time to really hit that ideal army composition, that mass queen, Broodlord, Infester. And Protoss obviously with pretty much everything. Storm here, Archons here, plenty of Blinkstalkers, well upgraded. The mothership, even those 2 Colossi thrown in for good measure. And he is now going into carriers.
Yep, 2 on the way, and he's, well, 3 on the way. He's got 3 Stargates to pump those out of. Might as well.
I think actually it's 4. I don't know if the other one's hotkeyed. So he threw down 1 initially. Let me see if I can find it.
I just
yeah,
see
he's
3
got
in the main right now.
He's got 1 in his 3rd.
Yep, he does have 4. Probably doesn't even realize it.
Well, he's maxed out, so it doesn't really matter. He is still making Warp Prisms. I think he's made like 5 or 6 Warp Prisms almost. But he's just doing a ton of damage as we see another one coming across the top here.
Too bad he can't warp anything in. He's maxed out at the moment.
He is maxed out.
He does see the Broodlords moving up to the center of the map here. Has that Xel'Naga control, and the creep is trying to spread forward. Does he even have an Observer with him right now? I hope he does. Yeah, I see it in there. So the Observer will let him push that back. He actually has 2 just in case, which is a good idea here.
So let's look at the unit stat as both players are pretty much maxed out. We've got only 2 Zealots, 2 Dark Templar, I think, being warped in at the top here. Yes, they are. An Immortal, 6 Archons, 22 Blinkstalkers, a Mothership. And now we're starting to see that carrier count grow. 2 of them are out now, 3rd one on the way.
Oh, every second that Fitzy tries to push out, more DTs warped in, now trying to take down the 4th base. It's already at half health, 500 health. A couple of Fungals trying to stop him, and there goes the mass transfusion. That's adorable. But he's got that Warp Prism there. He's got Warp Prisms pretty much everywhere that he can just keep doing this. And now Carrier's coming up to the center of the map. How many... I'm trying to think. How many Corruptors did he actually save there? And he only saved 5. He only has 5 units that can attack air besides the Queens. But I don't know how
Does have
great...
a lot of Queens, though.
But Queens
7
versus
queens?
Carriers.
Well,
This
the other
is going
thing
to be
he does
interesting.
have is a lot of Interceptors. So here we see the Infested Terrans being spammed out.
Oh,
3 carriers,
very
24
nice.
Interceptors. Nice Storms.
And the
There goes
Vortex.
the initial Vortex. Archons immediately finding their way in. Oh, but here's the Infestor trick, throwing the Infested Terrans in to try to bump the Archons away from the center of that ball. Will it work? Archons pushed to the side a little bit, and that is a lot of Infested Terran damage coming out. Both players pretty much dead even at 180 supplies. They both dropped down 80 after that Vortex. 176 now, but a mass warping into the main with so many Zealots. Oh my goodness, I think that is like 16 Zealots worth as I see 16 warp gates.
He's not really focusing down anything in particular, though. He could easily... Well, he gets the Infestation Pit. He could have got the Spawning Pool or the Spire. He might still get it.
Greater Spire, he gets the Greater Spire. Spawning
The pool's going to go down, too.
Look at this, another warping at the top left. You see 6 DTs again after he had sniped both of those bases, I think. And now they're going for that 4th yet again.
He's going to get it, too, because everything is back in the main, it seems like. Trying to take care of the Warp Prisms. All the Queens there.
Oh my goodness.
Bad
5 more
balls.
Archons, 3 more carriers on the way. As looks like Boyo has established his 6th base on the bottom left.
No, he did rebuild
Sorry,
that hive at his 2nd base. So he's not in danger of losing that quite yet. Looks like the DTs are going to get taken care of by the Ultras. Right now, 6 bases for Boyo versus essentially, well, 2 mining bases, maybe 3 mining bases. The 2nd base right now, 2 mineral patches, 1 mineral patch left. That's going to be mined out soon.
He's lost a lot of hatcheries. Looking at the resources lost, Boyo is actually behind about 8,000 resources, but he's just had such a better economy this entire time. Our Zerg player is still on 57 harvesters compared to the 72 for our Protoss player.
3 more carriers about to pop. It's going to put him up to 6.
Yeah, the funny thing is that he actually needs to be careful here. I mean, that mass corruptor burst from the Zerg would be enough to start really wiping out that army. And then transforming them into Broodlords would actually allow him to make that attack as a nice Vortex goes down, catching a lot of those units.
A lot of Fitzyhere going in. The Broodlords are actually doing a nice job right now attacking whatever units are left out. And now the few Archons that did jump in there are going to get taken out, it looks like. Carriers
with
another Vortex.
Keeping the carriers alive to take down the Broodlords. All those Corruptors are stuck in there, taking a lot of damage. 3-3-3 on all of these units, though, doing a lot of DPS. And is it going to be enough? Vortex ends, more Corruptors come out, but there's only 2 of them left. The Stalkers and the Archons just doing so much against the biological units of the Zerg.
Oh man, and there goes the supply. 70 in favor of Boyo here. He's got the better economy. He's up 6 bases right now, and he's finally going to be able to push through these spine crawlers onto that 2nd base. All those infested Terran going down quick, and Fitzy has to GG.
What a game.
How often do you get that for the first game of the night?
That was pretty crazy. So we saw a macro hatch into crazy macro from both players.
Saw a turtling
really
Zerg.
nice Blink Stalker.
You rarely see a turtling Zerg by itself.
Yeah. Into carriers.
Yeah. Carriers that actually won.
That is definitely true. Definitely true.